everybody, and welcome to Season 7 of First and Last. My name is Josh, and with me, I've got Joe.
Hey, man.
And Jimmy.
What's up, dogs?
Nothing. What's up with you?
All kinds of stuff. Man, it's been a week.
This is true. You can no longer run anymore. You've lost the ability. You ran too far.
Lower half is broken. Ran a marathon, probably the first and last. Hey, marathon. Hey. Am I right?
I mean, I'm never going to do that. So you did a great job for all of us, Jimmy.
Yeah.
I did it for you guys.
Thank you.
It's for you.
I felt it.
Nice. Probably gonna get a puppy here in a day or two.
Cool.
Nice.
Super pumped.
There was like a mass group text about what to name your dog. Were you actually taking serious inquiries about letting your friends help you name the dog, or do you already have a name picked out?
Yeah, absolutely not. Would never.
That's what I thought. Therefore, I didn't even offer an idea because I was like, they don't care.
I think Chudsley was one of the nominations.
Yeah. Chudsy. It's a family name.
Chudsy. Chud Muffin. the Chudster.
Oh, little Chudders.
I like
Cheddar
Chudders.
cheese.
Yeah.
Oh, you can call your dog Cheddar Cheese. That's actually great. Name your dog Chudsy.
You were not allowed to meet this dog.
Well, unfortunately, I'm gonna call him Cheddar Cheese. Him or her.
It's a her.
Because wasn't it a lady pup when that one you showed us?
Yeah, it's a lady, and she already had a name because she's alive. So the fosters are calling it things.
Well, make her your own and name her something else.
They call her May. Well, I don't know who called her this originally, if it's where the dog came from or the fosters, but it was listed under the name May Lynn.
Okay.
And so I think we're just gonna call her May.
Oh, that sounds like
Aunt
a
May.
nice dog name, actually. Yeah. Aunt May.
Agent May from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
All right. Well, yeah.
Any
So
Marvel
that's exactly.
reference, any
That's really
number.
why you want to name your dog that. Still, yeah. We'll keep her name. I can make Marvel references.
Any number of MCU references. What's up with you guys?
Just excited for another spooky month.
Oh man,
right.
it's here.
The goblins
it
are
is.
out.
It is spooky month. I mean, nothing's really up with me, Jimmy. I was thinking the other day that I was like, man, I should watch more scary movies now, because 'tis the season. And so then I watched Blade.
That works.
So you,
yeah. I mean, in a way, it's
MCU.
scary themed because it's a vampire, right? But it's obviously not like a horror movie or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah,
So
it fits the vibe, though.
Okay, fits the
Yeah.
vibe. As long as there's a vibe, it counts for spooky month.
Yeah. I think so.
Are you just protecting whatever your pick is for next week? Just to
Like, I recently watched a movie called The Guest. You guys seen that?
I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
It's not
Ruin it
really
for
a
us.
horror movie. It's essentially just like an action movie. It's this guy shows up at this family's house, and he says that he's a friend of their son that died in the war. Like, they were like in the war together. They're both soldiers.
Did they only refer to it as the war, or do you actually know what war it was?
I think they might have actually only called it the war. I don't think they got into details. There's always a war, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, and like weird shit's going on with that guy, and he's got some like weird like super soldier training going on. So it's more of like an action movie and not at all like a horror movie, but it is like it's weird, so in that sense it's kind of spooky, and it's also like set around a Halloween dance.
Nice.
So I feel like that's like, not a horror movie but fits the season.
Yeah, it's a Halloween movie as much as like Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there you go.
And I'll die on that hill. So I'll accept what you're saying.
You'll die hard.
Yeah. I will only live once and die hard or something or whatever.
What?
The
Live once and die hard.
live free.
That's how John
damn it.
McClane
That's
does
what
it.
is. He lives once and he dies hard. Every movie.
He never has died.
Well, then what the hell are these movies about, man?
Still living.
Still living. Well, okay. So it is spooky month. And that means
Yeah.
we got to get into some spooky shows.
Yeah.
And fun fact is we have 3 weeks left in October for each one of us to pick one spooky show.
That's fair.
Cool.
Because our first spooky month happened to land in our first and lasties.
Yeah, it worked out. But so that means, Jimmy, you get to pick the first spooky show.
Yeah.
And you said earlier that you felt good about it.
Yeah, I do. For some reason. I'm not sure.
You texted me and Joe and said, and I quote, "I feel good about this."
We'll see if it's how warranted it is, but I'm picking American horror comedy. Netflix's own, I believe it's pronounced Santa Clarita Diet. Santa Clarita Diet. Have you heard of this? Have you seen this?
I feel like I've seen like the cover, and I assumed it was Clarita. Are there spiders or something on the cover or something like that?
That's possible.
I feel like that's made me like not watch it.
Joe doesn't like spiders. This is going to work out great.
Nice. The IMDb like Netflix photo is Drew Barrymore. Looks like maybe she's choking Timothy Oliphant's neck or something.
That's the only thing I knew about that show when you said the name.
And he's got a rubber glove on.
Drew Barrymore's in this show.
Yep. And Deadwood's own Timothy Oliphant. Go back and listen to our Deadwood pod episode. Not full on pod about Deadwood.
I mean, I don't want to technically bring this back to Die Hard, but Timothy Oliphant was the bad guy.
Oh, was it
Live Free?
Live Free, Die Hard?
Live Free, Die Hard.
I think you're right. I mean, I know you're right, but I think that's the Die Hard that he's in. Amazing.
See, it all comes back. It all comes around. Yep, confirmed. Live Free, Die Hard, 2007. Big TO.
So 3 seasons. Looks like. Must be 10
a solid,
episodes.
solid 30 episodes total. It's probably 10 a season, huh?
Was this a show that started on Netflix?
I think it's a fully Netflix show.
Cool.
Okay, I am reading, however, the series was canceled on April 26, 2019. So maybe think about that when we get there. Did they know they were getting canceled?
Yeah, that's not my favorite on this kind of show. That's going to make things difficult, I think.
Do either of you, I don't know anything about the show. Do either of you guys know anything?
So this is what I think it is, and this is based on some random speculation I'm going to do and some things I think I've heard throughout, the time it's been on. I think that this show is essentially like wealthy people in probably Santa Clara, right? California. And for whatever reason, they are cannibals, and I believe it's to stay young.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm not 100%. I don't think it actually involves zombies or monsters
or spiders.
I don't think this is it. I don't think this is well. Who knows? I'm going to say right now, definitively, no vampires, no zombies in this show.
Darn.
And definitively, I mean, by my opinion, right now.
Right. It's a horror comedy, supposedly. This is what I think Wikipedia. I read that somewhere just now.
Wikipedia does say that, yes.
So yeah, maybe people are eating people, but not. That'd be spooky.
Like in a hilariously scary way, though.
Yeah, we're eating people. It's funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's got diet in the name. It's got to be about eating, right?
That would stand to reason.
And what's spookier than eating people?
Eating spiders.
Eating spiders could be.
There's 100% like somebody's like a person's eating a person, like, you know, there's some cannibalism type things going on in this for sure. I want to believe that it's just humans doing it to be weird, but if not, then it's this is just like a different kind of iZombie or something.
Yeah, that's kind of where I went with it, I think, when you said eating people.
Like it's just kind of like that. Like there might be zombies, but they're intelligent. That would ruin my definitive no zombie, no vampire guarantee, though.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And Oliphant has on a yellow rubber glove, like he's been doing the dishes. That makes me think of what's Dexter. Like there's some.
Oh yeah.
He's cleaning up after he's hiding it.
His kills.
Yeah.
Okay.
But who's to say?
Yeah, going in real fresh.
I mean, Joe, do you have any thoughts, or do you just fully agree with the combination of me and Jimmy?
Here's the thing. I thought it was something to do with spiders or something, and I did a Google image search of Santa Clarita Diet and couldn't find any spider pictures, so maybe I was thinking of a different thing.
There is something that has like a spider on its thumbnail on Netflix, I think.
Yeah,
but
I thought so.
I'm sure.
So yeah,
Probably
I guess
several.
if it's a diet, it kind of sounds like a trendy, like fad diet. So I guess I think I would go with eating people also. But instead of, I think you're suggesting it's like they have like a secret, like cannibalism fetish where they eat people and they do it in secret. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, yeah, I don't think it's. I think it's like a small group that eats it, not like the world or anything.
I'm thinking that like this is some sort of like weird universe where they're like two people who are like pitching this diet of just like eating people, and they like run like a full on like legitimate business, and it's like a fad diet where people just eat dead people. Like it's not.
I like that.
Yeah, like they're not like killing people to eat them. It's just like when people die of natural causes, then they cook them up and eat them. And it's like a thing that a lot of people in America are doing.
Yikes.
That sounds great.
It's warped.
Yeah.
Spooky.
Spooky. Oh, I mean, so I guess we should just watch the first episode then and find out what is happening in this show, right?
Let's do it.
February 3rd, 2017 was when the first season was released. The first episode that we're about to watch is called So Then a Bat or a Monkey.
Okay.
There's no question mark or anything at the end of that. I might have, due to my inflection. So yeah, So Then a Bat or a Monkey is the first episode, and we will see you after we finish watching that. And we're back. We're done with the first episode of Santa Clarita Diet. So then, Bat or the Monkey? Is that what it's called?
Then bat or a monkey.
So then, Bat or a Monkey? You got a write-up for us, Jim?
Yeah, here's what I have. Joel and Sheila's marriage gets a jump start when Sheila debuts a truly killer new personality and an anything goes menu, and they used to be so normal. It's kind of more of like a tagline than a description.
It's like a teaser.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
I mean, so we have Drew Barrymore and Timothy Oliphant, who are married. They're
Yeah.
Sheila and Joel, respectively, and they're husband and wife realtor duo.
Yeah, that's fun. And then they have their one daughter, Abby.
Abby, was like they said her name, but I did not put it in my memory banks. Abby. And then, so I mean, really, it was like they woke up in the morning and they just kind of showed how maybe like boring or mundane their life kind of is.
Yeah,
How
very domestic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Domestic level 100.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sheila's, like stomach hurt or something right away, and she had a sharp pain. And then I guess it was fine. And then they went to work, and then she threw up everywhere.
While they were doing like a viewing of a house they were trying to sell.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of barf. It was like Team America levels of barf.
Yeah, it was.
Those Family Guy levels.
Slapstick, gross comedy levels. Also, the first barf that she did, like on the carpet, just while they were standing there, that just looked like poop.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. And if you barfed like that out of the blue, you should just go to the hospital right there.
Yeah, go immediately to the hospital. They were trying to like still continue the viewing like after she had barfed in like the bedroom carpet. They were just gonna like let her barf in the bathroom, and like they were still trying to like show off the other bedrooms.
Yeah.
And eventually the couple looking at the house is like, we're done here.
Yeah, they had a multiple room barf joke going on.
Mm-hmm.
Which
so
is
they
pretty
could all
good.
hear her. It was pretty good.
And then Joel finds her in the bathroom after they leave and doesn't feel a pulse and thinks that she's dead. And then she like starts talking to him, and they're just like, this is gross. And then she finds like a gallbladder or something that she threw up in the bathroom.
I was like, spleen? What's a spleen look like?
Yeah, maybe a spleen.
If we find out what that is, and they say it's a spleen, I'm taking that point.
And then they go to the emergency room, and they apparently never actually see a doctor. Is that what happens? They're there for a really long time, and she's just like, I just want to go home. I feel fine.
Mm-hmm.
So then they go home.
There's no way they could have called like an ambulance, which they should have done, from like the house they were showing, and she would have been immediately put into the hospital. If anyone would have walked into that room, they would have been like, "Yep, hospital right now."
Yeah, it definitely didn't sell it to the nurse at the urgent care or wherever they were.
Right. And then they just like go home, and they're like, she's like, I feel great. And but then she exhibits those more free-spirited vibes, if Joe knows what I mean. You know, your favorite things in TV, which is
Cannibalism?
sex scenes.
No.
Yeah, they make a big deal at the beginning of how like their sex life is maybe like is not great, and then all of a sudden she just wants the sex all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting. I wouldn't have ever thought that a undead person would crave sex.
Well, they make it basically that she's like not to bring it back to Supernatural immediately. But at some point in that show, people like lose their soul, and then if they lose their soul, they essentially lose their conscience, and then they just do whatever they want. And that's kind of what she's doing. They were saying like she's driven by her id, which is just like what she wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
So she's just basically just driven to do whatever she wants to actually do. She's just kind of like amazingly spontaneous and just will be like, oh, I want to go do this now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which starts out easily, or innocently enough, as like just like wanting sex and like eating raw meat. Which I guess
Buying a
eating the
Range
raw
Rover.
meat is a little weird. But yeah, then it escalates to buying a Range Rover, going out drinking with the girls, and eating a snail just off of a
For some
plant.
reason.
That's when you know you've gone wild.
Yep.
And then, so other things though is Andy Richter is her like boss at work,
That's pretty great.
which I was like, okay, I like that. And guest starring, obviously, in only this one episode was
I
Nathan
assume.
Fillion, and he was Gary. And man, if Nathan Fillion would have not been eaten,
Yeah.
he would keep me coming back to this show.
Yeah.
So I was a little disappointed
I don't know.
that he died.
Slight spoiler, according to IMDb, he's in 6 episodes. So,
Oh, what?
Hey.
yeah.
Now I'm extremely interested.
Is it just like his carcass in the background? Like,
Yeah,
Oh,
right?
They're just dragging his body around so the other little conflict they throw in this is like right away is that on either side of them at their house they have a cop. There's like a sheriff's department guy on one side who's a crazy douche, and his wife is the waitress from It's Always Sunny, which is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And then on the other side, there's like a Santa Monica police officer. He's in a lot of TV. I recognized him, but I didn't look him up. His name
Yeah,
is
he looked
Rick.
familiar to me, too.
And I feel like that just the duo between them was like one of the most like fun things about this whole episode.
Oh, the two
They're
cops
just
like yelling at each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. Yeah, I guess I didn't even like think about that right at the end. Like I was gonna skip to the end really quick, but like when she was like, they had a dead body in their backyard and she was like eating it. I didn't go, oh yeah, that's right. They have cops living on each other's side. I like completely forgot about that because I was just like, oh man, this is crazy, gory zombie stuff now. Apparently, all of a sudden. But yeah, the implications for cops living next to them are much higher for someone who's paying more attention or comprehends things better than I do.
so yeah.
So-
So she keeps, kind of just following her id to do more and more, freewheeling things. And then she goes out drinking with the girls. Did we talk about who Nathan Fillion was?
No.
He's just like he was basically just the new realtor on the block.
Yeah, he's the new realtor. And I think he even got assigned to the house that they were trying to sell.
Right. And he definitely is trying to have sex with Drew Barrymore.
Right, because like he's at the bar that she's at with like her girls' night. And then, so all of that happens. There's some stuff about a toaster, but essentially, if I just like cut to the chase, Nathan Fillion comes over the next day and tries to like force himself on Sheila. And so she eats him. Just like straight up in the backyard.
Yeah.
Pretty insanely gory and bloody,
Yeah.
which is great.
Starting with a finger, but then later going to just like straight up eating through his chest, I assume to get to his heart. And then by the time that Joel shows up, there's like entrails out. She's just feasting.
And then the very last thing she says is like, honey, I want to make this work, as if he wants to make the
Yeah.
relationship as is now continue
Goes
to work.
straight back to domestic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
yeah.
So the one other thing is that like they find out, they take her to the ER. They're there forever. They're like, this isn't going anywhere. They leave. And then after like it seems like maybe a day goes by and like Joel tries to find her heartbeat. She says she can't hear it. He goes to like a CVS or somewhere where they're apparently selling stethoscopes. I don't know any drugstore that sells stuff.
Yeah, a whole
Anyway.
aisle of stethoscopes.
Yeah, maybe they had too many, but I bet you could get like a shitty stethoscope
Yeah,
at
I
like
suppose.
a Walgreens.
I suppose. That's
But there
probably
wouldn't
true.
be 10 different choices. That's
Wall
ridiculous.
And the like worker there's like a bit with her in a couple scenes, and she is Mona from Legends of Tomorrow, if you're a DC CW fan. Ramona Wu is her name.
You somehow always find him.
Yep. But then anyway, after all this, then the daughter Abby, they come out and tell the daughter she's dead, and she's like showing them. This is my deal about the Sheila wanting sex all the time. Now is that she takes them into the bathroom, husband and daughter, and is like, "Watch this. I'm totally fine," and then cuts herself real deep, and black like dead blood oozes out. So if she can't feel that, how can she feel sex?
Yeah, she has no blood in her body
This is
at
my
all.
problem. How is her nervous system?
Getting down to the nitty gritty of it, Jimmy.
Anyway, so then Abby's like, I know a dude, and takes them next door to the sheriff and the waitress's son, who's like super into her, and the waitress actually calls Abby the queen of his spank bank. You remember that?
Yeah, that was
do
like
remember
right
that.
at the beginning.
There was a few like lines in this that were just like shocked me that were pretty good. Anyway, so he's like really into undead and nerdy stuff, and he's like, "Yeah, you're a zombie," basically was that whole scene. But it was pretty
I
funny.
forgot all that, but yeah, that did build up the lore of she is undead. She's following her id. And she's got no blood. Bloodless.
And that's where like he's like, yeah, with all these, we're killing off all these animals, and so we're getting diseases now, or we're killing the habitats of animals, so we're getting diseases, and that's where he's like, so a monkey or a bat did this,
Yeah.
That was the whole thing.
So, with all this, then, what did you feel about the show? Are you interested in this? Was it good? Did you hate it?
I laughed.
I lulled a couple times. It's pretty gross, which is fun. I think I liked the Timothy Oliphant parts more than the Drew Barrymore parts.
Oh, 100%.
I don't know what it is about Drew Barrymore or her performance here, but I just I don't know, didn't find her funny or endearing.
Yeah, I'll tell you what it was. She's bad.
Okay. I was just kind of a little bit annoyed by her, and maybe some of it is her character, but I'm just like, which is weird because that's kind of the exciting part of the show is she's the one having this weird thing happen, and you would think that you want to watch that, but I'm just like, ugh, can she stop like barfing? Like it's really ruining it for Timothy Oliphant on his sale.
I mean, I kind of felt like she was like acting weird, but not in like her character's acting weird. I feel like her
Just
as
her
an
acting.
actor
Yeah.
her acting was like weird. And
I
was
can't
like, this
place
seems a
it.
little off.
Yeah.
It's
but
like she didn't like keep up with her acting lessons this whole time, and she just is like, "Oh, I'll try to do a show again." It's just
like
wow.
she's acting how she thinks she remembers how acting was instead of like acting
like
for
back
real.
when she was in E.T., like that far
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
you
what did
can't just
Mr.
get
Spielberg tell me to do?
By, can't just get by in your sweet little charm anymore, Drew.
Well, I guess I'm glad I'm not alone on that.
No, I agree with you there. I'm like, ooh, okay, so this could be interesting, and they're only like 30-minute episodes, aren't they? Are they
Was
get
it?
longer?
If
I thought it
couldn't
was-
tell.
Yeah, it was like
29
almost
minutes.
exactly.
Yeah, it's only like 30-minute
That's
episodes.
short,
So
sure.
I think this did enough for me to wanna watch one or two more.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm wondering where they're going with this. Is Drew going to be the only zombie? Like in the whole show, is just dealing with her, Or is it gonna
I have
end up
predicts.
being more zombies? How's that work?
Mhm.
Is it just gonna be
Well,
like
apparently
shenanigans
Nathan
now?
Fillion is one, so
I mean, who knows? Maybe he's in it. In like this show's like silly, so it could be like that guy's like twin brother. You know, like
Yeah.
that's not true.
so. I
Yeah,
mean,
and I guess with the Nathan Fillion part of it, like they've skipped right over from like she's undead and we need to give her meat to now they've killed someone. What are they gonna do?
yeah. Episodes 2 for surely just like getting rid of the body, right?
Yeah.
That's episode 2,
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah, I'd
dealing
watch
with
that.
it.
Which
Yeah,
is always a
exactly.
fun like plot point. Like that was in Breaking Bad early too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, how you get rid of how you get rid of the body. It sets the tone, you know.
Mhm.
How are they going to do this? Could you get rid of the body? Joe, how would you get rid of that body?
Well, if I'm like undead, like I think you got to eat that whole thing, right?
And what do you do? Well, I mean,
Yeah, waste not.
Yeah.
your lawn's stained red though, like for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. You got to move that indoors into like the basement or something. But then yeah, you gotta eat human like every meal for the next few days until it's all gone. Then you can get rid of the bones or something.
I mean, who knows? She might eat the bones. She did eat an entire snail, shell and all.
Yeah, shell and all. Just like oh.
Yeah, she didn't like
chopped his
suck the
fingers
snail
right
out.
off too.
Yeah, and
Oh,
she
yeah.
ate those bones. So maybe she doesn't care.
Those are smaller bones.
I mean, no matter what, I want to watch the 5 other episodes that Nathan Fillion are in. So this is
That's
great.
fair.
Should we do predictions for what we think is going to happen?
You yeah.
Who wants to go first?
I can go.
Nice.
Do it.
So yeah, we have the main family of Joel and Sheila, husband and wife, and then Abby, the daughter. I think by the end here, the entire family is undead, and they're
Okay.
all just trying to get some snacks.
Nice.
But then I think by the end of the show, the entire family is cured. They've figured out some sort of zombie
Ooh.
cure, and now they're fine.
Okay. I like that angle.
Yeah. And then I also think that that scenario that I was thinking was the entire show, where like it's people trying to push cannibalism as like a new fad diet. I think that's happening here by the end. Is that the family is even though they're cured, they're open about how they used to eat people, and now they are like, I don't know if they're selling books or something, or they got a TV show, but they're like talking about eating dead people and about its like benefits.
Family's got a cannibal book circuit going
Yes.
on. Got it.
Cannibal cookbook. And then the last one, I think someone eats a spider, because I could have swore this had something to do with spiders.
Really pushing for it.
So someone eats a
Nice.
spider. I'm not gonna like it.
Season 7 gonna be the spider season.
Spider season. Okay, I'm gonna do mine now. Number 1, I think, yeah, it's not only Sheila. I think eventually there's more people who are zombies,
Hmm.
so it's not just a Sheila zombie thing. So then with that, I think there are zombie support groups, like Zombies Meet and like some
Zombies
weird support
Anonymous.
groups. Yeah, we'll know. I think it's a little bit regularized now. So there's like someone eats a zombie hot dog.
What does that mean?
I would assume that is a hot dog with like raw meat or human flesh within it.
Okay.
It's like shaped like a hot dog.
Oh,
It's probably the
God.
best way to have your first, bite of human. Is just
Well,
ground up
I'm-
into a hot dog.
I mean, let's be honest. That's probably how I have had my first bite of human.
Yeah. Let's be real.
Yeah, let's be honest here. And then 4th, I think there's a blimp.
Okay,
Okay.
I hope
Just like-
so.
Just like a good year in the background.
Yeah, blimp.
Love to see it.
you know?
They go to a sports match.
Yeah, maybe they're seeing the football team score a goal,
Yeah, just a full-on Zeppelin.
All right.
or maybe there's just they
It's just the Hindenburg.
they remember the Hindenburg.
Okay. Are you good?
That's it.
Did you do
Those
it?
are mine. Yep.
Okay, I have Number one, I also think that they're more undead people. So my number one is I think Joel is now also undead. So now the pair of them are trying to figure this out. So number two, I have that Joel and Sheila are somehow still realtors
Okay.
through all this, and that's
Sure.
like part of they're trying to keep face a little bit. My number three is I also think Abby is undead.
Mhm.
And then number four, I think. So then Joel and Sheila are now walking Abby through like her first kill and murder and eat. And
Ooh,
that's a
so like
plot
the last
point.
episode's almost like a passing of the torch.
Yeah, they know the ratings are low. They're gonna spin it off, and then they don't make it in time. What I'm nervous about for this is remember what was the show that we watched? Is like The Last Man on Earth? Is that what it was?
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Where
that
it
ended
just
with the others.
yeah, where it just like went off the rails and then it got canceled. That's what I'm afraid is gonna happen with this.
It's quite possible.
Mhm.
It's quite possible. We'll definitely know soon whether or not they planned for this to be the end or if they got abruptly canceled. So I guess we shall find out. Season 3, episode 10, the finale, technically, of this show is called The Cult of Sheila.
Ooh, I like that.
So we're going to watch that, and then we'll be right back. And we're back. We're done with the final episode of Santa Clarita Diet. The Cult of Sheila is what it was called. Jimmy, before you get to the write-up, Joe, are you okay? There was a meatball spider.
Yeah. I handled it okay, but it did shock me.
It was gross. I mean, I don't like spiders that much either, but I'm not like freaked out about them like on TV like you may be. But I was like, that is weird and gross. The thing she threw up in the very first episode, like the organ, was like a spider she kept in a cage
Yeah,
at the end.
it's like a little meatball, but
Yeah, exactly.
apparently it eventually sprouts legs.
They decided it had legs to be its own character.
Mm-hmm.
To
Yeah,
then have
they needed-
literal legs.
They needed more ridiculousness in the show, I think. That's what they needed, for sure. Jimmy, do you have a write-up?
Yeah, I do. So I'm gonna pronounce this Dobrovich. I think it's the popsicle guy.
Okay.
Whose name I'm not going to attempt because it's not in front of me. So Dobrovich follows Joel to the storage locker that housed the cooler with the dead body parts. After Joel leaves, Dobrovich breaks in and begins to suspect that Joel is a member of the undead. At the Hammond home, Gary decides he wants more involvement in Joel and Sheila's realty company. So Gary is Nathan Fillion's character who's dead in the first thing, and now he's ahead and he's working for them. So Sheila wants Joel to decide whether he wants to become undead to be with her forever. At the launch party, Jean, Tommy, Ron, and Dobrovich are unexpected guests. Dobrovich threatens Joel into leaving the party. Ron reveals that he zombified some people and told them everything. Sheila, Ron, Tommy, and Jean go after Joel. After revealing his plan to Joel, Dobrovich learns that he is not undead, that Joel is not undead. Sheila finds them, and Dobrovich stabs her with a jousting pole and escapes. Tommy, Jean, and Ron help find Joel and Sheila and help them escape. Sheila goes after Dobrovich, but Joel ultimately kills him. Dobrovich's former henchmen show up at the Hammond home while Abby is talking to Eric, and Abby realizes they are undead and ends up killing them to save herself and Eric. After her parents return home, Abby finds Eric and discusses them possibly dating. Joel
I
buries.
don't know if they discussed anything. He literally said, "What's this?" And she said, "I don't know."
It snuggles. That's how this is. Joel buries the men, returns home to Sheila, and reveals that he wants to be with her forever. And they have a name for it, Mr. Ball Legs. Apparently that's what they call it.
They don't have a name for it.
I really hope that's real. Mr. Ball Legs climbs into Joel, causing him to pass out, and then Sheila bites him in order to save his life. Well, not really, because now he's dead. He's undead.
I see what you went. I see what you did there.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
So
that was weird.
That was a sentence by sentence plot.
Mr. Ball Legs.
Are you like Googling Mr. Ball Legs?
No, I'm just writing it down because it's
Got your
weird.
safe search on?
I want to see it. Is that? Do you think that's 2 words or 1 word?
It is
Ball legs.
hyphenated in the
Okay.
description. If that
3 L's in
helps.
a row seems weird. BALLLEGS.
Sure.
Ball legs.
Mr. Balegs.
Oh.
There's Poplovich is what the baddie's name was.
Right.
So he's
So I guess
trying
I
to
don't-
get undead's black goo that we discussed. They don't bleed. It's just black stuff comes out because it apparently is an aging cream or anti-aging thing. So close
How
to
do you
your
think-
initial.
How do you think that works, though? Because, like, if a zombie's bite, which is presumably what then turns the other people zombies, like Tommy, Gene, and Ron, whoever they are now zombies turned by Sheila. If that will turn you to a zombie, wouldn't applying the goo, like, as long as it doesn't get in your mouth or something, you can put it on your skin, but you won't become a zombie? But if it gets in you, you would?
Yeah, seems like you'd want to be far away from that.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's not the goo that turns you into a zombie. It's some other pathogen that the zombie has. And the goo is just something your body produces once you're a zombie.
Okay, that could be it.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's
sure.
fine.
Sure.
I'll accept that.
Resident undead expert Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did
All right,
read
well,
a
then
lot about cannibalism while watching the episode.
Excellent. Can't wait.
Also, it looks like zombies can be killed with headshots, so that is true in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The rules are set, yeah.
And then, Joe, what do you think happened to the rest of Gary's body?
I guess I assumed that they ate him just like little by little, and then like realized he
found
was
out
still alive. I guess,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
or maybe
That
they
was an
disposed of his body, but then found out his head was still alive, so they kept the head around. I don't know, because he's like
talked
sitting in a
them
jar
into- He's just chilling.
or like a vase.
You think at any point they like strapped his head onto like the back of a dog, like a horse saddle or something, and he just walked around and talked to them,
Yeah.
and he just went wherever the dog went?
I feel
or
like if I
or like a Roomba.
Yeah, a Roomba.
I feel like if I had like a head friend, I would put him on some sort of like dummy or something. Give him some sort of like fake body, because I feel
You'd like Weekend at Bernie's him.
yeah. What? No.
Well, you would, because you'd be carrying around his body, right?
Okay. Yeah. I guess I'm not even talking about like bringing him places, but like even just at home at the office, just like put him on like some sort of stuffed body so it's less weird to look at.
Just to have some normalcy.
Yeah.
I assumed you were going to put him on a body so you could bring him out. So you could like put him in a wheelchair and then you'd roll him around and be like, I'm a paraplegic, but hey, what's
Yeah.
up?
No, that's a good idea though, because yeah, then you could essentially just like bring him out as a normal person.
Yeah, you can just hang out with him.
Yeah.
Did you see that most of his face was like dilapidated and an eye was missing though? You can't just roll Gary's
got
head
leprosy.
around.
I mean,
You put a wig on him, you put an eye
makeup.
patch on him, people won't even.
did you see Mike Pence at the last debate though? Like his like eyes bulging out. There's flies on him. Like
He did.
He
I'll
might be
be honest.
undead.
Mike Pence at the debate, he had like a really white face, and then he almost had this like line of tan that kind of went around his face,
Yeah.
as if he was wearing a powdered face mask. Like, it's like he was like, shitty vampire makeup tonight. That's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah, whoever did his makeup should be fired.
And then we found our new president, Fly 2020.
Yeah. Yeah, so if he can pass for, a person who's 100% completely healthy, then I'm sure he could
did.
wheel around a zombie head and pass that off as
Exactly.
normal. Yeah.
Yeah, sold.
See, Joe, expert, resident dead expert, undead expert.
Yeah.
Did you guys think that this episode, I mean, it makes sense, but this episode seemed even wackier than the first one?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Wacky is a good word.
Yeah, it was just wacky. I was like, oh, I don't know what. Like, I think they did something. God, they did something weird. And I was like, oh, that was.
Every new character had some sort of zany thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There was a crossbow.
They have some new undead friends who were weird. A guy who's into birds and crossbows. Who seems alive, I guess.
Yeah, it was zany. It made me kind of go, I don't know.
Huh. I kind of
Like,
liked it wackier.
You liked it? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this
Lean
show.
into it. If that's what's working.
I mean, I thought the jokes are funny, at least.
Maybe, okay, I think that was the point that I kind of was like rolled my eyes a little bit, because I think they're like tried to be like so like kind of zany
Uh-huh.
that then some guy was like, I made a joke. Didn't you hear the joke that I just made? And I'm like,
Yeah.
it was when those like
The two
like,
Russians.
the two like, yeah, Eastern European zombie dudes were there.
Yeah.
And then he was like, there isn't no lasagna. Where's the lasagna over here? We're doing a bit. Like,
That's true.
Yeah, and
I was
that all
just
hit with me.
Yeah. It was a little too much for me. I was like, well, they leaned into it, so kudos there. But
I mean, they definitely doing. It's called a comedy, and they definitely were hiring some comedians. Like they did have a bit with Artemis, who's also in It's Always Sunny. So they got some sort of It's Always Sunny ties with the waitress and Artemis, and she was like some sort of cleaning lady. I don't even know what any of that part of the show was about, but it was silly.
Oh, yeah,
She's,
they're trying
like,
to get a
listening
guitar
them.
or something.
Yeah, Abby's friend is trying to get a guitar back from some douche, and they're trying to break into like his work or something. I don't know. And
Yeah,
then
don't know.
then Artemis opens the door, and she's like a cleaning lady, and then she has heard their whole conversation and just joins it. That's pretty silly. About how she likes Eric. Oh, by the way, Eric, I was trying to figure out where I recognize him from. He plays young Sean in Psych, because in every episode of Psych it starts with a flashback, and
every single
he's that
one?
kid. Every single one.
oh man, well, good
It's
for
just
Eric.
the cold open,
Okay.
Yeah. Skylar Gisando, maybe. Who's to say?
Oh yeah. Oh, totally. Gizondo.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Would you guys? So Timothy Oliphant was having trouble deciding whether or not to become a zombie. Would you guys become a zombie?
It's a tough decision because, now you're living forever.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants that?
I mean, until
right.
you're not,
I mean, if you've lived to 2020, you're like, man, is it just going downhill from here? Because this year.
But think about it, Jimmy. If you were a zombie in 2020, really nothing's affecting you right now. You can go outside and hang out and do whatever. You're probably not a spreader. Because, where's that
I can't
virus
get
living on you?
COVID.
You can now go and hang out with anybody you want without fear of getting infected or being infected
yeah, but
by
they
anything.
don't want to hang out with me because there's fucking disease out there.
Well, I mean, you can tell some of your friends, hey, I'm a zombie. Don't worry.
Yeah, is the whole zombie thing like
So
under
you're
control? Like, is your like whole
I
id
feel
and
like-
appetite under control?
I mean, it seems like it's, at least in this version of the world, they seem to be able to control it. But obviously, they're eating people somehow. So they found out a way to like procure people secretly.
Sounds expensive.
So you got to figure that out. Obviously.
Yeah, I still gotta work and I'm a zombie. Shoot, I gotta work forever.
Yeah.
I can't even retire now.
Yeah, you'll never retire.
Presumably, if you
Kill
have
me.
to
Just
work
kill me now.
forever, you should be able to save enough money, Jimmy, to take a couple years off every once in a while. I think I'm in. Bite me, Drew Barrymore. Bite me. I'm in.
But then you get a little
Yeah.
spider guy.
Oh yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah,
Well,
you get
do I have to keep?
familiars.
Do I have to keep? Oh, I see. I like the idea of a familiar. That sounds fun. I don't like the idea of a meatball spider. Or sorry, Mr. Ball Legs.
Yeah.
But I mean that's one really bad thing. Throwing up, like 30 out like liters of like poop vomit or whatever, and then a meatball that becomes a spider eventually. But I feel like eventually, if you know someone that's a zombie and they can turn you into a zombie, I feel like it's probably at some point only a matter of time before other people then become infected, and then this turns into some sort of like very awful, horrible thing. So then maybe it's better to figure out your zombie stuff now, get yourself settled. It's basically you're becoming a zombie doomsday prepper.
Yeah, get like ahead of the game. Like, well, sooner or later
Yeah.
we're all gonna be zombies. So
So as long as I become a zombie now, I can maybe at least figure it out so that when World Z happens, then I can at least have my constitution.
yeah,
you
like
know,
freezers
and know what's
full
going
of
on.
human meat, just like full on prepping.
Are we saying right now I'm the only person that's going to become a zombie? This kind of zombie.
You're talking me into it. If it's like, okay, I'm gonna have the majority of my faculties, like, and I'm worried about this strain sort of changing into Walking Dead zombies, and that's basically the other side.
I
of
mean,
the coin.
presumably we're 3 years into the strain and there's no Walking Dead zombies
Yeah.
currently.
And I think
that can't be alleviated. Like you can remain not a Walking Dead zombie as long as you stay on top of it.
There's a part where they
It's
mention the
taking your medication.
where what's her name? Sheila's friend is like at their open house party. Jean.
I assume
I
it's
think
the
it's Jean.
waitress.
The old lady.
No, yeah, Jean. Yeah, the old lady. And they're like worried about her like killing someone, which
Yeah.
to me implies that like once you're a zombie, like you have to constantly fight this urge to like murder and eat people.
Yeah,
Which
you
seems
need
like
a
a-
Joel
Yeah,
in your life.
it seems like a tough way to live. I think I want to stay human, but like get me a couple of vials of that black goo, and I'll like put a little bit of that under my eyes.
Oh, so you're going to be pro zombie slavery, huh, Joe?
Yeah,
Is that what you want?
You know, they're not. They're undead.
They're people too, Joe. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's also possible. I just kind of made the assumption that she was like a new zombie, and like they haven't had maybe a chance to like help her out and show her the ropes.
Yeah, it takes
So
some
then they're
getting
like-
used to.
They're like, oh, she doesn't understand the hunger yet. We got to figure it out, kind of thing. But
Crave brain.
crave brain. And also, Joe, I fight the urge to kill people every day, and I don't now. So
That's fair.
I can do it when I'm a zombie too. Just kidding. I don't
Urge
have
to
I'm not
murder
a murderous
rising.
human being. Just if I no. true feelings and thoughts are coming out. So, okay. Good. I'm glad we had this zombie conversation.
Yeah.
It's very enlightening.
I learned about
It's October.
because back when I wasn't sure that this was zombies, I thought it was maybe just like cannibal stuff.
Yeah.
But I learned that like,
Cannibalism is good for you.
no, it's actually like real bad for you. Like you might have guessed,
totally.
but like even aside from all like the moral implications of like eating people, even like dead people. Well, the problem with eating dead people is that, they're dead and usually have died of like old age or some sort of disease. So like you're not eating good meat anymore at that point. But also
Right.
because it's human meat, like there's just a higher chance of catching disease. Like because we eat animal meat, like they might have some animal diseases, but there's just like a low chance of that crossing over to infecting humans, unless it's like mad cow or something. Like it does happen, but
Sure.
it is.
Unless it's one of the things that you can
Yeah.
infect.
So, but yeah, with eating human meat, there's just like a way higher chance of getting a disease and dying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
So don't eat meat.
This person had smallpox.
Yeah, it's just like if things that are closer to human, they can have, obviously then they can have diseases that humans can have, and then if you're eating that meat, then you have a higher chance of getting it because those might be on those
Right.
things because they're similar. That's why when you eat like a duck or something,
Yeah.
they're so different than a human. When you cook it, then it's like pretty much you're
You're
fine.
not gonna just get duck diabetes.
Right. Yeah. We currently have not caught duck diabetes.
Humans
Duckabites.
humans also have like a higher levels of like heavy metals because we're just like high up on the food chain.
Because we rock
Yeah.
so hard.
Like kind of in the same way that like you got to be careful about eating like too many larger fish because they're like full of mercury. Like same problem with eating humans. They got a lot of heavy metals in them.
Yeah.
So we're giving everybody that's listening a lot of good ammo for when someone's like, but what about being a cannibal? And you can be like, I don't think that's a good idea,
Well,
Greg. And these are a couple
check the
reasons
Yeah.
why.
nutritional
Well,
facts.
PSA from first and last: don't eat people.
You heard it here first.
The more you know.
Unless you have to,
Reading Rainbow.
then choose wisely.
Yeah, then pick someone who is
Then eat
low
your-
in
then eat your
metals. You
cleanest
probably want to
friend.
choose like a vegan and make sure that they're fully healthy.
Yep. Low
Exactly.
sexual partners.
Just on the safe
Mm-hmm.
side. So is anybody going to watch this show before we get into predictions? Is anyone actually going to... Is this the scary show that you're going to finish in this spooky month?
I think for me the pros are wacky jokes from side characters, and then the cons I think are gross spider ball and Drew Barrymore. So I think the cons outweigh the pros. Like I think I could get just like wacky side character banter in a lot of TV shows actually, like maybe like a Psych.
Heck yeah.
The end kind of gave me some like Psych vibes in the kinds of jokes.
Yeah. I can see it. I'm struggling to figure out who the target audience is for this show. Cuz there's like weird Joel dad jokes that like wouldn't be like he's like yelling at Abby for cleaning his cast iron with soap, and I'm like, yeah, I'm into that joke. Like
Ruining
no
that
one else
cast
would be
iron
into that
pan.
joke.
Hey, I mean, we have a cast iron, and I was like, totally. Why would you do that? Come on.
Come on, kid. But then it's like turns around. There's like teen like love drama, kind of space throughout. It's like I don't really know, and the quirkiness,
Yeah,
and
and
the
then-
horror.
Yeah, all the gross stuff, and it's very gross.
Like who are they targeting? I'm just not sure.
Yeah, nothing in this show is like a light touch. It's all just like there.
Yeah. All or Nothing.
Yeah.
Drew Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore.
Executive producer. So Drew Barrymore is the target audience for this show. Yeah, that makes sense, actually.
Yeah. If I were...
I do want to watch... Huh?
I was just going to say, if I were, a huge celebrity and had the capital to just make whatever TV show I want, I might just make a weird show like this.
Yeah, heck yeah.
According to ratings by demographic for this show, just FYI, it looks like it rated highest by
Middle-aged white females?
Well,
named Drew Barrymore?
males and females. I think the very, very highest rating was average of 8.0 by women 45 and over. So it's mostly women 18 to dead that like this show, and then
women that are alive.
That's a 7.9 on average for the ladies that were like asked. It's kind of all over the place. But they asked most people between ages 30 and 44, and that was pretty solid, like 7.7 to 7.9 across the males and the females. So middle-aged people, are slightly younger than middle-aged.
Sure. I was going to say that when I was scrolling through the cast list of this finale, didn't see him on screen, but Alan Tudyk is listed on the cast list for this finale, and I was super interested to see him in this show.
He was probably like a hilarious dude that got eaten.
No, he actually plays the voice of Gary. So that's
okay.
Yeah.
He takes over Gary.
Yeah, so that's why what's his name? Nathan Fillion is only in 6 episodes because I think he was the voice of Gary for like seasons 1 and 2, and then Alan Tudyk took over.
I did think Gary sounded different, and I was like, well, it must not be Nathan Fillion anymore. But also I was like, maybe he's just trying to sound weird, and he isn't in that many episodes, and this is just one of them kind of thing. Like Gary wasn't all over around all the time. I don't know why people. I don't know. I mean, no one assumes that Alan Tudyk and Nathan Fillion sound alike, right? Nathan Fillion has a very distinct voice, I think.
That's true. But Alan Tudyk is a talented voice actor, because it didn't also sound like Alan Tudyk. So.
But yeah, I think I've had enough of the show, but if anything, I would probably watch second, third, maybe episodes to see what happens with Nathan Fillion, because if he's in the show for the first couple seasons for off and on, I'm interested in that, because I like him. But besides that, I was like, this show's fine. All right, we should get into predictions, though.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
I can do mine. Yeah.
Joe.
I said the entire family is undead, which it was only Joel and Sheila, so no point for that. I said the family gets cured, which it didn't seem like there was any sort of talk about trying to find a cure. So definitely not on that.
I thought that was a good one.
Yeah. Someone eats a spider.
It went into his ear.
He definitely didn't try to eat it, but it went in him.
So close.
You should have really just said there was some sort of terrifying spider.
I should have just said there was a spider. I thought about it, but oh well. you gotta swing for the fences. And then I said that they're like pushing cannibalism as a fad diet, which they weren't. Maybe because they did the research.
Yeah, they did. They looked up all the websites you looked up just now, and they were like, nah, maybe not. All right, so 1 point.
No points.
No, I think
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I blacked out or something. I thought you had one. So I said number 1 that more people are zombies. So that's true.
That's true.
I thought there was zombie support groups. There was not. There was a cult of Sheila apparently, but I thought there was going to be more zombies, and it was like known in the public kind of thing. Like segregation of human and zombie, and the zombies were in like support
I think
groups
we
or whatever.
probably would have gotten there season 4.
Yeah, maybe. Zombie hot dog? No, I didn't see that. There was a lot. They lied about making a lasagna, but that was about it. And it wasn't even a zombie lasagna. It's just a regular lasagna. And then my last one was there's going to be a blimp, and I saw no blimps.
Didn't see it.
But I'll take 1 point.
I had Joel is undead, and he does indeed become undead. Then I had somehow they're still realtors, and yeah, they were like throwing a big realty launch party. And
Yeah, I would say even, and we don't know this anyway, I would say even if they weren't realtors the entire time, and even in just this last episode, they're like, we're going to restart being realtors, I still would give that point to you.
Yeah,
Because I was like,
appreciate
oh,
that.
wow.
Of all of my ones for that one to be like super obviously true, it's ridiculous. Okay, so then I had Abby as undead. She does not seem to be in that Joel and Sheila are walking Abby through her first kill. She did kill some zombies, but Sheila and Joel were not there for that. So
No,
2 points.
not bad, though.
Starting
bad.
off spooky month hot.
Yeah,
Spooky.
2 points for Spooky Month. All right. Well, that was the first episode of Season 7, and we have 2 more weeks of Spooky Month. We got a Spooky Joe show and a Spooky Josh show coming up. So hopefully we pick well.
I like spooky show.
Do you know what you're
I
going to do,
don't
Joe?
yet, no.
Neither
We
do
got a couple
I.
ideas.
Nice.
Yeah.
If you want to make a show suggestion, though, you can hit us up at FNL Podcast on the Twitter or on the Gmail, and maybe push us in a direction to pick a spooky show, because I could use some help
This is
figuring
on
it
you.
out. That's right. This is your fault if we pick one and you don't like it, listener. That you did that. Yeah. All right. Cool. Subscribe and 5 stars. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.